Just as electric vehicles have begun revolutionizing the automotive industry, they're also sparking intense debates between major economic powers. On October 12, China sent a direct message to the European Union: don't attempt separate negotiations over the price of China-made EVs. This warning reflects a high-stakes standoff with significant implications for the future of EV trade, EU-China relations, and global trade norms. So what's driving this conflict? And what does it mean for the future of electric vehicles and international trade? Stick around as we unpack the layers of this unfolding story. To understand the significance of this warning, we need to look back a few weeks. The European Union launched an investigation into China's EV industry, claiming that China-made EVs are entering the European market at prices too low to be sustainable. The EU argued that these low prices are a result of heavy subsidies from the Chinese government, which could give Chinese companies an unfair advantage over European manufacturers. China's EV industry has been expanding at a breakneck speed, with both government support and private investment driving rapid growth. In 2022 alone, China sold more than 6 million electric vehicles, far outpacing other nations. And it's not just domestic sales. China has quickly emerged as a top EV exporter, and Europe has become a major destination for Chinese EVs. Brands like BYD, NIO, and XPeng are gaining ground, offering high-quality EVs at competitive prices. In response to the EU's investigation, China tried a diplomatic approach. Beijing proposed that all China-made EVs sold in the EU be priced at a minimum of 30,000 euros, or about $32,000. The proposal was meant to alleviate EU concerns and potentially prevent the imposition of tariffs. However, Brussels quickly rejected this offer, and it's not hard to see why. Many in Europe believe that artificially inflating the price of Chinese EVs would only delay the underlying issue of unfair competition. European automakers are already feeling intense pressure from Chinese brands, which are undercutting local manufacturers. Accepting the price floor could be viewed as an acceptance of China's practices, so the EU pushed back, keeping the option of tariffs open as a tool to level the playing field. China's response came in strong terms. On October 12, the Ministry of Commerce warned that if the EU pursued separate price commitment negotiations with some companies, it would jeopardize the foundation of their trade talks. What does this mean? Essentially, China wants the EU to negotiate with them on a governmental level rather than directly with individual companies. They argue that if European officials were to negotiate with specific companies rather than through the China Chamber of Commerce, it could undermine the entire process. The Chinese government's position suggests a desire for a unified, government-to-government solution rather than fragmented, company-specific deals. This dispute over EV pricing isn't an isolated issue. It's just one piece in the larger puzzle of EU-China trade relations. China is the EU's second-largest trading partner, while the EU is China's largest export market. From machinery to electronics, billions of dollars flow between these two economies each year. However, as China has grown more economically influential, tensions over market access, subsidies, and intellectual property have intensified. The EU has consistently raised concerns about Chinese trade practices. While there's no denying that Chinese exports benefit EU consumers with affordable goods, many in Europe worry that Chinese competition will eventually erode local industries. At the heart of the EU's investigation are the substantial subsidies that the Chinese government provides to its EV manufacturers. These subsidies have fueled China's rapid expansion in the EV sector, enabling manufacturers to cut prices and dominate foreign markets. From the Chinese government's perspective, these subsidies are a strategic investment. China aims to lead the global transition to green energy, and supporting its domestic EV industry is central to that vision. The Chinese government has invested heavily not only in EV manufacturing but also in the infrastructure to support these vehicles, such as widespread charging networks. However, from the EU's point of view, these subsidies distort the natural dynamics of the free market and place European manufacturers at a disadvantage. If this disagreement escalates, it could impact the availability and affordability of EVs in the European market. For European consumers, Chinese EVs offer an affordable alternative at a time when demand for electric vehicles is surging due to stricter emission regulations. However, European automakers argue that Chinese EVs could dominate the market to the detriment of local manufacturers, potentially leading to job losses and weakened industry presence in the region. There's also a broader global dimension here. The US, for example, has already placed restrictions on certain Chinese tech products. If the EU follows suit with tariffs or restrictions on Chinese EVs, it could set a precedent, reinforcing a divide between China and Western economies. As of now, the EU has not finalized its decision regarding tariffs. Some reports suggest the EU may impose tariffs of up to 10% on Chinese EV imports, but the ball is in China's court as well. Beijing could seek alternative markets for its EVs or even take action to retaliate against European companies operating in China. The EU will likely face pressure from European automakers to take a strong stance, while also balancing its reliance on Chinese trade for other industries. And for China, maintaining its dominance in the EV market is crucial for its long-term economic strategy. Both sides have much to gain, and potentially lose. The China-EU EV dispute highlights the complexities of global trade in a rapidly evolving industry. As both sides navigate this standoff, they must balance domestic interests with long-term economic strategies. Will China and the EU find a compromise, or is this the beginning of a larger trade conflict that could reshape the EV industry worldwide? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Will the EU's actions protect its domestic industries, or will they backfire in the face of China's growing economic power? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on global economic developments.